Would you kill your dad? If the answer is no, then the exit's right there. You are not Union material. Carter Drews is Union material. The main moral dilemma in A Horseman in the Sky is whether Carter should kill his dad or not, because Carter is fighting a war when his father's on the other side. This is also the climax of the story. A quote that supports this is it then so terrible to kill an enemy in war, an enemy who has surprised a secret vital to the safety of oneself and comrades, an enemy more formidable, his knowledge, than all of his army for its numbers?
Hold on. I've got some explaining to do. The irony in The Horseman in the Sky is that Carter said he would talk to his dad after the war. But the irony is that he eventually, in the story, killed his dad. The quote that supports this is, "Go, Carter, and whatever may occur, you conceive your duty. Virginia, in which you are a traitor, you must get on without you. You both live to see the end of the war, and speak further on the matter."
In the exposition, the author introduces the setting and our main character, Carter Drews. One sunny afternoon in the autumn of the year 1861, a soldier lay in a clump of laurel by the side of a road in West Virginia. The author continues to describe the setting of the story. The configuration of the valley, indeed, was such that from our point of observation it seemed entirely shut in, and one could have wondered how the road, which found its way out of it, had found a way into, and whence came and whither went the waters of the stream that parted in the meadow more than 1,000 feet below.
The author then adds rising action to the story by talking about how the landscape leads to the trouble for the army. No country is wild, but direct men will take the theater of war, concealed in the forest at the bottom of the military rat trap. And 100 men position the exits might have starved an army to submission. Lay 5 regiments of federal infantry. The author also talks about how the strategy of the main characters group. In case of failure, the position would be perilous in the extreme. If they fall, surely they would accident or vigilance apprise the enemy of the movement.
The author writes about the climax of the story, describing how Carter Drews made the decision to shoot the enemy. In his memory, as if they were a divine mandate, rang the words of his father at their party. Whatever may occur, do what you conceive to be your duty. He was calm now. The author then wrote, duty had conquered, and spirit had said to the body, peace, be still. He fired, to signify the climax.
Following action included descriptions of the soldier falling through the air. Lifting his eyes to the dizzy altitude of its summit, the officer saw an astonishing sight. A man on a horseback riding down into the valley through the air. They also included his reactions after making the decision to kill his father. Filled with amazement and terror by his apparition of the horseman in the sky, half believing himself the chosen scribe of some new apocalypse, the officer was overcome by the intensity of his emotions. His legs failed him, and he fell. The resolution describes Carter Drews returning to watch. After firing his shot, Private Carter Drews reloaded his rifle and resumed his watch. The story concludes with Carter telling his sergeant that he shot his father, to which the sergeant replied, "Good God."
The author builds suspense by providing imagery of the man falling from the sky. In this quote, filled with amazement and terror by apparition of the horseman in the sky, half behold himself the chosen scribe of some new apocalypse, the author was overcome by the intensity of emotions. His leg failed him, and he fell.
The second example of suspense is when the author builds suspense by talking about the character doubting his decision to kill the man. But no, there is a hope. He may have discovered nothing. Perhaps he is admiring the sublimity of the landscape. If permitted, he may turn and ride carelessly away in the direction whence he came.
The third example of suspense is when the author builds suspense by describing what the main character looks like. Carter Drews grew pale. He shook in every limb, turned faint, and saw the statue goose group before him as black figures rising, falling, moving unsteadily in the arcs of The main theme of the story is that sometimes in life you have to make hard decisions. A quote that supports this is, "Not a tremor affected any muscle in his body. His breathing, until suspended in the act of taking aim, was regular and slow. Duty had conquered. The spirit has said to the body, 'Peace, be still.' He fired."
Now let's talk about the point of view. In the first paragraph, the author writes, "He lay at full length upon his stomach, his feet resting upon the toes, and his head upon the forearm," which is the point of the third person. And the words that he and his use, since the story is told from the third person point of view in an omniscient narrative.
One character motivation is Carter's motivation to kill his dad. The quote that supports this is it then so terrible to kill an enemy in war? An enemy who has surprised a secret vital to the safety of oneself and comrades? An enemy more formidable for his knowledge than all of his army for its numbers?" The second character motivation is motivation by duty. The author explained, "The duty of a soldier was plain. The man must be shot dead from ambush, without warning, without a moment's spiritual preparation, with never so much an unspoken prayer. He must be sent to his account," which was why he shot the man. His duty as a soldier triumphed over his beliefs and feelings as a person.
Another symbol of the story, a horseman in the sky. Another symbol is when Carter's dad saluted. So Carter dressed, bowing reverently to his father, who returned the salute with a stately courtesy. That master is a breathing heart, left the home of his childhood to go soldiering. When Carter is saluting, it is a symbol of respect to Carter. It shows Carter that his father respects him for his decision. This is important because it comes a full circle when Carter kills him. Internal conflict happened throughout the story is man versus self. Part of him needs to fulfill his duty as a soldier and kill the enemy. However, another part of him believes that it is wrong to kill. This side is especially wrong when you haven't killed his dad. In the story, it says Carter grew pale. He shook in every limb, turned faint, and saw statues group before him as black figures, rising, falling, moving unsteadily in arcs of circles in a fiery sky. His hand fell away from his weapon. It was very hard for him to kill his dad. Indirect characterization. In The Horseman in the Sky is so Carter drew bowing reverently to his father. That infers that he was respectful no matter the situation. Because he respected his father even though they are on opposite sides of the war, this shows that he killed the person who taught him to be respectful.
I want you to join the Union.